I'm Lynn Boyer, and you're listening to Community Catalysts, a podcast that supports each other through shared experience. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Community Catalyst podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Boyer, VP of Community Impact here at the YMCA of Greater Nashua. And I'm so excited to have one of my favorite partnerships on here as a guest today. So I'd like to welcome Sheila to the podcast today. Sheila, please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and your title and what you do there, how long you've been there.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Lynn. It's a pleasure to be invited on by such an essential community partner like the YMCA of Greater Nashua. So appreciate you inviting us, and I'm excited for the conversation today. So for those of you listening, my name is Sheila Vargas. I'm the Community Relations Manager for Fidelity Investments in the New Hampshire region. And some fun facts about me. I live in Concord, New Hampshire. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, but was raised in New Hampshire and am fluent in Spanish. Go back to the island often to visit family. And I was the first in my family to graduate from college. I attended public school in New Hampshire and college in New Hampshire. So I like to brag about my Granite State roots as often as possible.
That's great. Well, thank you and welcome. Like I said, Fidelity is one of my favorite partners. I don't have favorites, but it's up there just because of the nature of our relationship and the impact that your business has made on our organization. It's just a really seamless, nice partnership. And also, I love the fact that you are in the former digital campus. So
We
my
are.
parents worked at Digital and I visited that campus often. So whenever I go visit you, you always hear me say, I'm like, oh, it looks the same. And it's like just such a throwback for me every time I'm there, like takes me back to my childhood, which I love. So thank you and welcome. So tell us a little bit about Fidelity. Obviously, your business is a cornerstone here in the community, but just tell us a little bit about what it is that Fidelity does and who they serve.
Of course. So I love talking about Fidelity. I'm very proud to be employed here. We really focus on helping people, families, and businesses build stronger financial futures. We focus heavily on meeting the unique needs of our broad and growing customer base. And another fun fact is we've been privately held for 80 years, which is a feat in of itself. And I always say, while we have over 7,000 employees in New Hampshire, Fidelity actually employs more than 80,000 associates across North America, and we also extend into Europe and Asia Pacific. So that gives you an overview of our size, our magnitude, and what we focus on. In New Hampshire, as I said, we have over 7,000 associates just in our state. When you look at the total population for the state of New Hampshire, and you hear that Fidelity in of itself has well over 7,000 associates. It's quite a number to behold. And we actually have two branches in New Hampshire. So our main campus is in Merrimack, which is right near Nashua, which is great. And then we have two branches, one in Nashua and one in Portsmouth. And truly, the nature of my role is being active in the community and living into the ethos that Fidelity has in serving our community, serving our friends and neighbors, and ensuring that we're setting folks on the correct path for a strong financial future. So part of that is being out in the community, working with organizations like the YMCA of Greater Nashua. And we have a focus in the community relations space of bringing financial education to students and supporting local students and families. And I'm sure we'll get more into that as we continue the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I wanted to talk about next was what our partnership looks like. So we I think our partnership definitely goes back way before you and I, right? So I've been with the Y a long time, but not in this capacity, working with our community partners for too long. But so we know it's at least well over a decade, I think is what we decided. So let's talk a little bit about that. So what are some of the contributions that you have, that Fidelity has made to the Y in a partnership or volunteer capacity?
Yes. So as you mentioned, I mean, I would agree. Well over a decade begins to scratch the surface of this collaboration that we've had. We work with you all year round. We love working with you all year round in order to support the students and families that you serve. We discussed some of the ways that we have worked together in the past, everything from supporting your Power Scholars program, which I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into because that's right around the corner, and supporting the Camp Sargent opening and closing with volunteers. That's a bit more of the traditional volunteer aspect to, winters in New Hampshire being quite brutal, especially this past winter, and supporting families with winter warmth kits and some of those basic needs in order to set them up for success as well.
Yeah, and we're so appreciative to the amount of people and hours that you lend to us. I mean, we have our Camp Sargent is 22 acres on Lake Natticook, and closed all winter. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot of people power to clean that up. So we're so thankful every year when you guys come out, whether it's for camp cleanup at the beginning of the camp season or at the end. It really helps us and benefits us to have a great camp season. And then, as you mentioned, Power Scholars. So for our listeners that aren't familiar with Power Scholars Academy, it's a 5-week summer learning loss prevention program that we do in partnership with the Nashua School District. It's free for students. Students are identified to attend this program that focuses on literacy and math. And it's mostly for kids that might be performing under their grade level, and gives them an opportunity to catch up over the course of 5 weeks. And it's just a great program. We get funding from some of our partners, but also volunteer opportunities, as well as just general support. We love bringing people out to go see that program in action when it starts, because it is so impactful. Like I said, I've been here a long time, and that's definitely in the top 5 for me for impact. And we're able to do that because of our partners, which is just really nice. We're better together. I'm sure that everyone's heard me say this multiple times, but I always talk about how pre-COVID we, as a Y, like many other Ys, we often were like, oh, we could do that. We could do that. We would, try to replicate different programs. And then COVID forced us to shut down. And then we were kind of like, well, what do we do now? And so we worked really closely with our partners to do new things for us, like food distribution, which is something that we continue to do because of our partners. We really learned a lot during that time, that we can't do it alone, and we really are better together. And I think as a community, we really saw that too in the last 6 years. So yeah, we're really appreciative to you for all of the help and the work that you guys lend us. We couldn't do it alone, for sure. So thank you.
Well, and Lynn, if I could just share an anecdote about our partnership over the past decade that really speaks to the strength of the YMCA and of Greater Nashua, and just your presence and your programs. Every May, Fidelity has our global month of service, which we call Fidelity Cares Month. And the Camp Sargent Transformation Day has been a standing activation in the month of May every single year for, again, well over a decade. And our associates ask about that in November, in December, in January. They get so excited knowing that that's around the corner. Having an annual cornerstone event like that with the YMCA of Greater Nashua has made such a big impact on our associates, and has also allowed them to be part of the better together sentiment, right? We use that internally here at Fidelity when we talk about internal collaborations, but as we collaborate with our partners and ensure that our associates are part of the community, there's no better organization that we collaborate that provides a high impact program like the YMCA of Greater Nashua. So I did want to note that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah. And one thing that I really love too is I think for a while I was under the impression that your associates had required volunteer hours. And then you and I were talking once and you said that no, it's actually they're there on their own, right? On their own accord, which is really nice. I love that your business really promotes and encourages volunteerism because that's really important to us here at the Y as well. So what's something exciting that you have coming up at Fidelity? Is there anything that you could share with us that's a new initiative or an event or anything that you have going on?
Of course. Every day is exciting for me. I love my role. It's very dynamic. Again, I get to work with over a dozen organizations in Manchester and Nashua to help, advance their mission and help build the financial futures and the secure futures of the youth and families that they serve. But something that I'm very excited about this summer is the Power Scholars Academy. And that's why I'm glad we're talking about it today. Something that is particularly exciting to me about that program is how we have continued to incorporate associates engaging directly with students to provide career readiness, STEM, financial education in the course of that program. Again, that's really our bread and butter as a financial institution when it comes to our volunteerism. How can we really ensure that we are providing students with very basic financial education concepts, career readiness, and promoting STEM, of course? So on August 7th, is the Fidelity Takeover Day for Power Scholars. So this is exciting because it's a bit of a larger scale initiative than we've done in the past. It will be in all three of the elementary schools that are involved in the Power Scholars program. And our associates will be, quote unquote, taking over those schools and engaging directly with students for the morning for a couple of hours. And they'll be talking about financial education concepts, again, very basic. And then interacting with the students using some STEM kits that are provided by another organization we collaborate with year-round, Sea Science Center in Manchester. So those STEM kits are kits that our associates actually help assemble every year, and they get dispersed to different schools and organizations in Manchester and Nashua. So just incredibly excited about that. We actually just started recruitment and building awareness amongst our associates for those days that are coming up. And again, opportunities over the summer with time away and time with family. You would think that folks are less likely to volunteer, but because of the strong collaboration we've had with the YMCA of Greater Nashua and the strong track record we've had with associates engaging with not only your organization year round, but with this program in particular, we've already seen a high interest in associates wanting to volunteer on that day. So excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, that's really great. That's really wonderful. And that's really something that's an education piece that kids and teens need. It's not something that's necessarily being provided in schools or elsewhere. That's, financial literacy has actually come up for us as an opportunity to offer multiple times. So that's really great. I love that you guys are doing that. And I love that you're doing it through Power Scholars because that's what Power Scholars is all about. So that's amazing. So if there's one thing, and I know this is so hard, and so many of my guests have such a hard time sort of whittling it down to one thing, but if there is one thing that you would want our audience to take away about Fidelity, what would it be?
That is tough, especially as such a large employer, large business. I would say the one thing I wish I knew, I wish everyone knew, and I wish I knew candidly, before I joined Fidelity, was just how many resources are available through our website and through Fidelity. So, for example, whether you're a student, an individual, a family, a business, there are so many ways to engage and learn. When you're looking at students and individuals and families in particular, we offer such a wide range of tools and educational content to help individuals build knowledge around financial topics and also build confidence around financial topics, which is equally as important as those concrete skills. And I would say a great place if your audience is interested in learning more about these resources, because we certainly have an abundance of them, a great place to start would be the Fidelity Learning Center, which is on our website, and it provides accessible resources from everything from budgeting to investing. So again, it's heavily utilized, but it's something that I have continued to kind of wave the flag on here in New Hampshire to share with as many individuals as possible.
Yeah, that sounds really useful. And so, what's your website? I'm assuming you can just Google Fidelity and it will come up.
Yes, yes, we'll
Great.
certainly come up, fidelity.com, and then you'd want to go to Fidelity Learning Center, which you can search right there.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to see you and spend time with you. And again, like I said, I just love our partnership with Fidelity, and I appreciate you taking the time to educate us.
Thanks so much, Lynn. Always great to see you.
You can download Community Catalyst on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Castbox, and Spotify.